If you're on this YouTube video, you're probably looking for fonts. So, without further ado, here are over 200 commercially free use fonts for your next design project. First up, we have FontShare, which is this really cool website by the Indian Type Foundry. It has a bunch of really clean, 100% commercially free use fonts. They're created by the Indian Type Foundry themselves, alongside a couple other partner foundries, as well as a couple independent type creators. They are all 100% free to use in all your graphic design, product design needs, as well as their website has this really cool pairs function. This pairing function enables you to see which fonts go with which fonts, and you can use this for inspiration as well as for the purpose of just taking it as is and using it in your own design projects. My personal recommendations for fonts from FontShare would include General Sans, which goes really well for body copy, and Satoshi, which a lot of seasoned graphic designers will be quite familiar with, as it is a really cool, versatile, clean font which also has a variable version. Next up, we have Velveteen, who has probably one of the most interesting websites I've seen on any type foundry. Velveteen is a French type foundry, and they have some really cool, interesting fonts. They are really good display fonts, and especially I'd suggest them for like if you're making some sort of futuristic sci-fi abstract posters, like with graphic design. I would also suggest it if you are going for a more unconventional hero section text for something like a landing page, for example. Yeah, I feel like you can do some really cool, innovative things with these fonts. For my personal recommendations, we have Carrick, which is this really clean font by Jean-Baptiste Morizot and Lucas Lebihan. It works really good for, again, body copy, as well as for a more grotesque option if you so choose. Additionally, we also have Terminal Grotesque, which is this sort of retro 80s typeface. If you're making something like a CRT-like design, I would really suggest it. You could make something really cool with it. And yeah, it's made by Raphael Bastide and has contributions by Jeremy Landes. Also, something I really like about the site is it has this screensaver if you leave the site unattended for a bit, which just adds a little bit of personality to the site, I feel. Another type foundry is the Open Foundry, which is again completely free. It has a bunch of completely open source typefaces from all over the world, and again, if we go ahead and take a look at some of these fonts, they are super pretty, super versatile. We have serif fonts, sans serif fonts, monospace fonts, everything that you could realistically require. And if you want my personal suggestions, there is Liberation Sans Bold that I feel is again really good for display and body text, especially if you have something like a blog. And you also have Unicode Bold Condensed. Now, I famously do not like condensed fonts. I just personally don't like how they look, but Unicode has kind of changed my mind on it. It just looks so classy, even if you just see the glyphs in isolation. But yeah, I am definitely going to be using this font in my future projects, and I'd highly suggest you do too. And yeah, check out Open Foundry. Okay, coming to Use and Modify. Use and Modify is a font selection by Raphael Bastide, who is an artist. And even though this is not exactly font related, I will be putting the link to his website in the description because his art is really, really cool and definitely deserves a look. But coming back to the fonts, Use and Modify is a personal selection by Raphael. And again, it's fully open source and you can use and modify it to your heart's content. There are a lot of fonts and font variations, literally like 27 pages of them. But if you want my suggestions, there is Lucieth Regular, which is this serif font that looks quite classy. And another suggestion of mine would be JetBrains Mono. If any of y'all are developers, y'all know exactly what font this is and why it is so cool. It is a font by JetBrains, and it is monospace in nature. It's also super clean, readable, legible, and it also looks quite neat. And so if you were looking for a font that is either a display font or a headliner, I would highly suggest utilizing JetBrains Mono. Now, while this video was supposed to have just 3 websites of commercially free fonts, it would be doing a disservice if I don't mention the largest and most common database of free fonts, Google Fonts. If you're watching this video, you've probably already utilized it, because there are fonts like Montserrat, Poppins, Roboto, and Open Sans on it, all really common and really good fonts. Regardless of your use case, there is probably something for you on Google Fonts. And so, if you happen to be like the 2 people that have never utilized it, I would highly suggest paying a visit and hope you find exactly the font that you are looking for. So those are the 200 plus something fonts for you. And this video was a little bit different from my previous 2. I did try to go for a more authentic mind-to-mouth approach for this, no script. And yeah, I hope you ended up liking it, and if you did, let me know in the comments. And remember to subscribe, drop a like, all that, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.